Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the very first Gamestyle Live. It's probably going to be the least professional gaming show on the internet because none of us have a clue what we're doing. I'm joined by Steve and Adam, and at some point Pete, who apparently is going to be dipping in and out because he's watching The Apprentice, as all true gamers apparently do. How you doing, gents?
Fine, thank you. Yes.
Right. Obviously, we spoke about this the other day a little bit, that obviously the main topic that we're going to be talking about today is PSN, because it's a complete and utter disaster.
It's actually making me consider getting Xbox One.
It's a lot of people have said exactly the same thing, and it's like, I'm going to get an Xbox One, I'm going to fork out another 350 quid for another console, and then another 40 quid for a subscription. But I can see why people would do that, and like at this point in time, if there was ever a reason to buy an Xbox One's got the strongest Christmas lineup for me, despite having one. It's like, because you've got Forza Horizon 2, which is fantastic. You've got Sunset Overdrive next week, which remains to be seen. I don't know. I think reviews should be coming out fairly soon. But then there's Master Chief Collection for people who like that kind of thing. And all the multi-format stuff as well. And a stable online connectivity service, which PSN currently isn't. So if there was ever a time to, like, within the first year to buy an Xbox One, now is the time to buy one. And Microsoft will probably capitalise that and go in, here's 1 million bundles, choose what you want, and crack on with it, kind of thing.
It's, for me, I mean, I've got no loyalty to any of them. Never needed any loyalty because they're multi-conglomerate companies for a start. And I'm no longer 12 and arguing it in a playground.
Shots fired.
I did go PlayStation for this gen purely because the ecosystem worked for me. I got a PlayStation 3 at the end of, towards the end of the generation. I got the Vita, and I still maintain the Vita is the best console on the market and is ahead of its time. But there we go. So I thought it made sense with PlayStation Plus to get on the PlayStation 4 bandwagon. The exclusives between the two didn't bother me too much. Titanfall can take it and leave it. Forza, Gran Turismo are going to be to and fro across the next 5 to 7 years anyway. But it was PlayStation Plus that swung it. But it is getting to the point for me where even PlayStation Plus possibly cannot keep me from going back to Xbox One. Even if Games on Gold doesn't offer the value that PS Plus does, I'm going to keep what I've got PlayStation-wise and just get an Xbox and then just decide what games I want from there. But still, for me, the Wii U is probably the best thing to have anyway, by the looks of things.
It's got the most consistently brilliant games by the looks of it, although it depends what you want, because I had Mario Kart 8, played through the 3 cups, and then didn't go back to it because it's a multiplayer game. I don't have any friends that play games like that, so there was nobody to do the same screen kind of local multiplayer. And playing online, it's weird. I found playing Mario Kart online a little bit of a soulless experience. I don't know why. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's very much one of those games where you're just sitting on the couch next to your friends. It just doesn't translate well to online at all.
No, it's like, you kind of, you blue shelled me, you bastard, dead leg. What were you saying about 12-year-olds? Yeah. But it's just, it's a bit of a weird one because it's not got the interaction of sitting next to somebody and kind of swearing at them and stuff, because that's what Mario Kart were all about. But it's Bayonetta's out, and there's I still haven't got around to playing like the Wonderful 101 and stuff like that. But it's I've got no. I did have loyalty to Xbox, and then I bought a PS3. But it's weird because PS Plus was a big thing for me, and it's more of a big thing for my Vita than the PS4 or the PS3. Because my PS3 currently isn't plugged in, which is one thing I've found in that I thought, I'll get the PS4 because everybody's looking like that's where it's going. My friends, the people who play online. And I thought, but I'll still play quite a bit of Xbox 360 and PS3. and that's just not been the case. So anyway, but it's a bit of a win.
See, it's as much as there's a lot of, I don't want to say hatred towards Sony at the moment, towards the PlayStation 4. You've only got to look at the PlayStation Plus titles and how they work with the PS3 compared to the PS4. We get to the first Wednesday of the month as it is now, you go and add every game to your basket, because you're foolish if you don't, even if you don't like the game. And on the website, you just go download to PS4, download to PS4, download to PS3, etc., etc. To the Vita, it goes after a small delay. The PS4, it's instant. The PS3, I'm turning it on 2-3 days later because the boy wants to play it, and he's got to wait for it to go through a process. They're going, oh, by the way, I've got these games to download. And it's only when you sort of look back at stuff like that, you just go, dear God, it really was bad on the PlayStation 3. And I've heard people saying it wasn't as bad as it was now with the PlayStation 3. Well, it really was. There's so much the PlayStation 4 does right, but it's hamstrung by, I think, promises that have not been broken, but have been late. And the fact that Sony just really can't do an online infrastructure. They need to get someone in to do that for them.
I mean, if Microsoft's if Xbox Live didn't work as well as it does, you'd have to question, because seeing it's practically Microsoft stock in trade, and also they've been doing it since the original Xbox, and so the thing that confuses me the most is that they have to take it down periodically to maintain it. Now, it seems like that's the login servers, because if you're logged in before the maintenance, you can still play online. So if you log in before 6 p.m, then you're all right. You can't buy anything, you can't access the store or anything like that, but you can still, play Destiny, seeing as it's an MMO and everything. But I just find it a bit weird how Microsoft and Nintendo, who have an awful online system, managed to get theirs to keep working. Maybe it's because the Nintendo one isn't under heavy load, and because PSN is. Microsoft, we've said, because they should have got it right by now, and if they haven't, there's something very wrong. It's just that I don't know if Sony just completely seemed to be completely fingers in the ears, la la line about actually responding to it at all. I've not seen anything about them saying, well, this is what we're doing to rectify this, and I don't know why. Because it's the biggest problem. They are going to piss away all that goodwill they've built up by being for the gamers and being on the ball with after Microsoft shot themselves in the foot at E3, not this year, last year. But after they made a colossal mess of everything, Sony came forward and went, and kind of all the gamers got on board. But that's going to slowly dribble away unless they do something. Especially seeing as it's integral to. I mean, the PS4 and Xbox One now, it's like you have to have them online once. If you don't have them online once to get them working, there's no point in using them. You can't use them. So it's an important thing to use. So, well. We'll have to wait and see, really, won't
we? I know you say it's peak times everywhere, but does it have to be 6 p.m. in the UK time every single maintenance window? It's like every single time.
It's just I don't know. I mean, if they did it in America,
what it did. They don't release saying this is what this is going to fix this time. There's none of that. There's no communication. Most of the time, we don't even know there's maintenance going on until you actually go on the store and find out it's offline.
This is it. They've started trying to be a little bit more transparent on the blog, but of course you have to follow PS Europe and one of the other PS accounts, because if you're following a lot of people on like Twitter, and if you're not on it all day, then you're going to miss it, and then you'll go, I'll pick a game of choice, and it'll not work. But it's like it makes you wonder what they've kind of built that requires it to be shut down period. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's a first world problem to a degree, because you just go off and do something else that evening. But that only washed when you were on PS3 and it was free.
Yeah.
If you're paying for that service now, you're kind of going, well, if this is my primary hobby, if it's what I do in an evening, then I'm paying for something that I can't use. And so people are, like I said, they're just going to get angry with it and get annoyed, and I don't know. It's very difficult to gauge it, because people on the internet will gnash their teeth and stomp their feet and say, I demand better and all that, but are they really actually going to do anything? It's like that whole thing with Modern Warfare 2 where all the PC gamers said, "We're going to boycott this until they give us dedicated servers." And then there's that Steam group of like boycott Modern Warfare 2, and they're all playing Modern Warfare 2, which is brilliant because gamers. So
I think generally it's always going to be the vocal minority who speak out against things. You do wonder how many people worldwide are actually that bothered about the PSN maintenance, because obviously we're on forums, so we see a close knit community of people bouncing these things off of each other, and this is wrong, this is annoying, screw PSN, screw Sony, I'm going back to Microsoft, going back to my old mistress, but I think your general everyday, I nearly said casual gamer, but your general everyday gamer probably would go, PSN's down, I'll watch a film tonight, or I'll go out for something to eat with the family, or read a book or whatever.
yeah.
And it is really only us that are sitting here going, this is outrageous, and we can't cope with this, what are we meant to do, this is our hobby, because we've bought into it more than 90% of the people who own a PlayStation probably have. I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you look at the Vita, for example, it's the core group of gamers that you have love the machine. Consider it a wonderful piece of equipment. It's got some of the best games on it, and we laud the indies that are on it and everything. Your casual gamers are ignoring it because it's not Nintendo. It's not a DS. It's not got a Mario or anything like that on it, so they're not bothered. It's not something they're going to get for their kids. And as much as we turn around and say a Minecraft bundle would sell tons of the thing, it probably wouldn't, because again, 90% of the people who would be interested have got Minecraft on a home console, on a PC, on a phone, on a tablet, whatever. So they're not going to go out and spend £100 for a game and a console just because it's Minecraft.
It's literally the last thing to get it. I can't think of anything else that's still being supported in one way or another that doesn't have Minecraft on it now.
3DS?
So, that's true. 3DS. But they've got Pokemon. And they've got everything else that, kind of, it's like, can the Vita play Pokemon? No.
Is it Yuya?
I love that.
Minecraft?
Pardon?
Is it Yuya? Or whatever it's called?
Yeah, it's on Android.
Yeah.
It's on Android.
Is it?
I mean, it's not very good, but it's on Android.
But you say that, I love that you say that, it's not very good, but again, the amount of kids I know that will play it on an Android device, and they don't care. They don't care about frame rates and having proper controls and stuff like that. I sit there, and I've sat there and I've stared down a 5-year-old because he's enjoying Minecraft on a rubbish Android device that obviously costs 50 quid from some dodgy market somewhere, and I'm just looking at him in disgust, going, "How can you play that?" But what gets me? There's at the local ice rink. There's one of the kids has a Vita, and it's clearly his mum's just bought it because he's got a 3DS, he's got a Vita, and so she's obviously got the money. Has gone, yeah, go on. They're both gaming things, but it's funny because you watch him. He plays. Look on it, he's got a Mario game on his 3DS most of the time. On his Vita, he's got Rayman that you pretty much see him have. Actually, exclusively Rayman. I don't know if he's just got that game and that's it. But it's just, again, I think with it, he's bought him. He's got 2 games and he's happy with it. He's only about 4 years old. It keeps him busy while his brother's playing ice hockey. But yeah, I think we're the only ones. I don't mean just us 3, but the forum-based gamers, I would say, the only ones that actually get so pent up about all this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard people talk about Drive Club, and we'll get to that in a sec, because I think a lot of the animosity towards Drive Club is on the back of how poor PSN is, again, within our circles. But I've been in game and I've heard people talking about Drive Club and how much they love Drive Club, and I don't think they're that bothered about the issues we're all having, because they can still go on and race, and they're not going to be doing the club stuff as much as we are.
Yeah, it's a funny one because it's when you're part of for a better description, the gaming community like forums and all NeoGAF and all things like that, it's easy to lose sight that those insular things, no matter how populated they are not indicative of people who buy video games. So it's going to be interesting. Like, for example, you know, your usual gamer will go out and buy FIFA, Call of Duty, other bit Assassin's Creed, other bits in between. Now, if they can't play FIFA, or I know Adam's got something to say about FIFA, or
I've given up on FIFA. My FIFA got sold like a week ago.
I know you sold it because there's the reasons why you sold it, because it was appalling. But
which have all been fixed now, apparently. I've heard.
Oh, sorry.
Which have all been fixed now, apparently. I've heard.
What, a week after you've sold it?
Yeah.
What a kick in knackers that is. That's terrible.
Drop my copy.
No, never going to again. I think I'll buy Pro Evo next.
Oh, Pro Evo with its currently, what was it, announced that it's got an Ultimate Team thing, so they can make microtransactions and stuff like that. But the I was saying something. What was I saying? Oh yeah, casual gamer, blah 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 blah. But how when they come to play FIFA Online or they come to play Call of Duty, the new one, because this, I mean, Ghosts kind of counts. It came out with the console, but it wasn't very good and nobody played it. What a kicking knackers that is. Oh.
Sorry, I knew the first technical problem's not bad. Sorry, someone's just left a comment on the YouTube video saying our comment's working in here. So I'm just going to respond to him going, no, I can't get them to work. But,
so yeah, but when you know, so PSN has major downtime, I think that then you might start seeing that demographic getting a little bit irritated at it. But of course, people like that, but people have got short memories. You know, they go rage, and then it's fixed, and they're like, no, and everything's great. So it's going to be curious to see how. I mean, I'm hoping that all this maintenance is behind the scenes to move across what Fred Flintstone bloody running on floor hamster wheel infrastructure they've got, kind of dragging it up to date. So I don't know. I'm hoping they're doing something about it, because something needs to be done.
yeah, it's that is partly what I'm hoping for. That it is going to turn around in a few months and go, this is what you're paying for. As you said, that's what we need. If it comes out of that at the end, I think everyone's going to go, do you know what? Fair enough. If they release, was it OS 2.0? Is that their new one? And they go, right, here's all the new features. You've got the YouTube uploading and streaming. We've got all the bells and whistles, suspend, resume. By the way, here's your new network. I think everyone will just instantly just go, excellent. As long as it works, then fine. We forgive the last 12 months of ineptitude.
Yeah.
If, however, we are 2 years down the line and PSN is still stinking up the place like it is now, I think you'll have people starting to leave their PlayStations behind and just spending more and more time on the Xbox, because that'll be the multi-platform console of choice. 900p, whatever, you know, it's not as powerful, but I can go online knowing that I can get a nice service. I can play this, I can play this, I can play this, and it's not going to be interrupted for downtime every couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing about what they do. I mean, the whole 900p 30 frames a second thing's a whole different conversation. But you know, it's like I've said, it's just the fact that Xbox Live works. It just does. And so, whatever Sony, I'd like to think, the optimist in me, I would like to think that it's exactly as we've been kind of saying it, that they are doing something behind the scenes and they're ignoring it all because they're working on getting this thing up to date. Because Sony have been a bit too aware of what people are saying about their console and about Microsoft to ignore the noise that's been going off in the online space. So I can't see how they ignore it. They do all the leaps and mountains, like when 3D Blu-ray support, which wasn't out of the box, which is bizarre, but support was announced the Xbox One. Like literally 4 days later, Sony had announced an update for the PS4, which included 3D Blu-ray support. So coincidence maybe, but I'd like to think that they're paying attention and they're kind of looking at putting all these things in place and getting it working. I'd like to think that.
They have to be, because they built the PS4 based on information they picked up around the internet and from the core gamers in the years before that, and they gave gamers what they want. Hence the reason they had the no DRM, and they mocked Microsoft with the "this is how you share games" and all that. And you know what? That was great because it showed they was listening. So to think they've gone, we're listening. By the way, the curtains are now shut. We're ignoring you completely. That can't be the case. They've still got to have guys who are doing that, and Sony have always been even when they fell behind with the PlayStation 3, they were still chest out. We are Sony. The PlayStation is the PlayStation. We are the best. And it was having that bravado from Sony has always been great as a gamer. It's entertaining. To go so tight-lipped over this, that they've got to either be preparing something massive, or they know they're completely screwed.
One way or other.
Yeah.
It's not. It's. I just don't see why they haven't mentioned anything. It's like It can't. It's not doing them any good. It's not helping the problem. I mean, they could just, even if they just said, we're aware of the downtimes, we're aware how they are bothering people, we're working on it. That'd do. That placates so much, but they've not said a word about anything. What's even more frustrating is that this doesn't get brought up by the mainstream gaming sites, which baffles me. I don't get it. I don't understand. Nobody's willing to touch it with a barge pole. But it's not like Sony. I mean, Sony in the PS3 era were, like you say, chest thumping. Crazy Ken was with his notions of people getting 2 jobs so they can afford a PS3. It's like, all right, if you like, you nutcase. But there's such a far cry from that now, because they realise they, like Microsoft did at the beginning of this generation, shot themselves in the foot and played catch up for 7 years or whatever it were. That they realise that that's not the way to go, which is great. But with this, it's just silence, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't get it. So, but
no.
See, that's it. Everybody kind of goes, so, fucking. Wow.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's as a long-time gamer, I would so love to just go, I'm going to vote with my wallet, and I'm just going to say, no, I'm not having my PlayStation 4. I'm going to sell it all. I'm not going to have any of it. I'm going to teach Sony a lesson. But damn it, if those indies don't keep me coming back. I got Race the Sun today, and I lost 3 hours this afternoon. It was just absolutely wonderful. We've got Binding of Isaac coming up. We've got stuff like M++, and it's just, it's the console to go for. It's and bizarrely enough, this is how much of an indie whore I am. The main game I want a Xbox One for is Cuphead.
Oh,
which is that 1930s cartoon-esque
yeah
type thing.
Yeah, that looks interesting. It's the indie stuff, but the thing is, I get a bit cynical about it because I see all these indie things announced at PS4 and Vita, and I'm, like yourself, I go, this is great. There's all these really cool little games coming out for it. But then you go, but where's the big games? Because again, Johnny Cod buying monkey doesn't want to play Cuphead or anything like that. He wants to shoot things in the face and do what he wants.
Bit harsh, considering he's not here to call him that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. He'll give me flack for it on Friday night. It's fine. But yeah, no, it's funny because they, the gamers that are gamers, the people that populate the forums are all going, "This is great. There's all these indie games and fantastic." But it's like you've got a £300 console for indie games.
But look at the people who spent thousands of pounds on a PC and were still just playing indie games on it.
We don't talk about PCs. We talk about the Master Race. I'm sure. No, it's true, but it's the disparities.
Oh yeah.
It's difficult to kind of put into because in the whole console game, a PC master race thing. But then you've got the people who play the Nintendo games over there somewhere, and it's really weird. It's like just play, just do it, just fucking play something. It doesn't matter.
Hence the reason games are games. I actually hate them being pigeonholed. If a game is a game, regardless. And I think it was a few weeks back. It was Jim Sterling done one of his pieces. Whether you like or dislike the guy, he done a piece about a game is a game. Stuff like Gone Home and Flower. They're games. They're interactive entertainment, which is what a game is. It may not be a game in the traditional sense, but they're still games. Whether a game costs £30 million to make or costs £30 to make, it's a game. And I can get behind that. It's, I played Proteus. I loved Proteus. I'm probably never going to go back to Proteus because I'm done with it.
I just couldn't. I didn't know what was going on at all.
Nor did I. In all fairness, I didn't have a clue. But I just enjoyed wandering around.
I've not played it.
But then, I'm playing. As we spoke, we've got Don't Die, Mr. Robot, which I'm taking on to review, and that is a pure game. It's pacifist mode from Geometry Wars, and it's just a joy. I mean, it's got. I feel bad saying this. It's got god awful graphics and style, but gameplay wise, it's pure Geometry Wars. It's absolutely fantastic. You look at Velocity. That is a pure old school gamer's game.
Yeah.
Yet ignored by so many. But that's why I think that there is room in the gaming world for those who do only like your Call of Duty and your FIFAs and your Battlefields, and those who do like those other experiences, like your indie titles, those who do like just the Mario games. And I don't like it when people dismiss people who like Nintendo games, because some of the Nintendo games are some of the most hardcore games you can play. They're just wrapped up in a way that make them very family friendly.
Yeah.
Trying to actually 100% a Mario game is a lot harder than trying to beat a Call of Duty. Yeah, that's the hardcore game. That's where the hardcore gamers go.
I remember being called. I many years ago when I was working in retail, guys came in and said, "Oh, so what do you think?" I said, "I haven't played it. I'm not bothered. I haven't played Call of Duty since Call of Duty 2 at beginning at Xbox." Says, "Oh, you're not a real gamer." I'm like, "Really?" It's like, this is where we're going with this. Oh, okay then. But it's a funny, like I say, it's a funny segregation that playing Shooting Man's 36 makes you a real gamer, but playing Mario 3D Land and not being able to do the last 4 worlds of the not the base 8 worlds, but the unlock on the did you play the 3DS version where they unlock the 8 extra worlds?
Oh no, I've not played. I know there's generally hidden worlds in most Marios.
Yeah, so you get the 8 worlds on Mario Land, and you're like, I went, yeah, Mario Land, I've done all 8 worlds, I'm right happy with that. Oh yeah, here's another 8 worlds. I'm like, you are kidding me. You what? 8? All right, okay. So I started again, and then it started getting to the point where I felt like I was being kicked in the knackers by a large hobnail wearing Navi. I'm like, I've enjoyed that, but I'm going to have to stop playing it because otherwise my 3D is going to get snapped in half. So, yeah.
But it's the only industry, I think, where you have that. I think the film industry, you do get people that go and watch your god-awful rubbish films like White Chicks or whatever. And you'll get others... and you get others that, are quite highbrow, but they generally know that having those different types of people keeps money coming through the door at the cinemas and keeps the cinemas open, keeps the film industry going. They're buying the DVDs, they just generally everyone accepts it. You don't get readers who go, "What books do you read?" What's that?
That's Michael Bay's entire career you've just summed up there. He gets people through the door.
I despise Michael Bay. I despise him.
Transformers 4 took like $1 billion, so can't be that bad.
I mean, do you really get sort of like, are there reading forums where someone goes, "Oh, do you know what? Those people that read Harry Potter, they're not proper readers." Oh, casual.
Do you know what?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
that was
think.
fine.
I think to a degree, because obviously people see the Harry Potter books as kids' books, which it's arguable. Whatever, I don't know. But there's elitism in anything. But because video games are, it's such a young industry. It's like it's just difficult to draw comparisons, like parallels with other industries, because you can to a degree, but then because it's so, it just starts getting to like, so you got parallels and it starts getting off on a bizarre bent, you know, because you pay between, at the minute for next gen, between the next gen, current gen, whatever, 39 to 50 quid for a game. I mean, the Ultimate Team, the FIFA Ultimate Team, you bought Ultimate Team, it was 65 quid, 60 quid, something ridiculous, and it's like you kind of, you can't compare it to movies, because you go and watch a movie one time and you're paying 10 quid for it on door at cinema, or you're paying 13 quid for it on DVD or Blu-ray. But it's like, and it's just, you can't run those same parallels to after a certain point. But people try, and it's just, I just find it a bit bizarre, because you get this, and which kind of leads on into the consumer side of video games is also different from people who only go to movies, or people who, their main hobby is reading, or you know, whatever it may be. But it's just because you're investing money, a lot more money and a lot more time in a video game than you're investing in a book or a film. And because it's something more complicated than just having a genre of book, like I like horrors, or I like, you know, romance novels or whatever, because it's just, again, so fractured, it starts just being up in a tangent that you can't equate to anything else, for better or worse. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just one of them things. So
Yeah, it's just weird. You know, I can't imagine in the day that, you know, Betty and Ivy were kicking off at each other because one liked this book and one liked this book, and how dare you, and
well,
you know.
it's all the internet's fault. So,
But I mean, as funny as that is, it is. I mean, it used to be, you know, you'd have you know, my dad's uncle's best mate who worked at Nintendo, knows this and this and this, and it never got any further than the playground. And so, you know, you'd hear rumours at your school that just never appeared anywhere else. You know, I dare say I've heard things in my youth that you've gone, no, never heard of that, same as you would have. But now, any kind of argument has broken out of the playground and is, I think, more than forums because of Twitter, Facebook, and all that as well. It's got to the point where everyone's opinion counts. It's not just in small circles anymore like it used to be with just forums.
Yeah.
So it goes on Twitter, and you get, without mentioning what's going on, you get the complete and utter shitstorms that happen from time to time, like the big one that's going on now. And that's the last that'll be said of that. But it's
the
all
shit
that
show
stuff,
that should not be named.
yeah, which links nicely to a certain part in Harry Potter. But there you go. But it used to be you'd have your full blown arguments, but 2 weeks later it's forgot because something else has happened, and again it's that small circle that you had with
Yeah.
it. Whereas now it's just is blown completely out of proportion. Absolutely everything is. But as I said, it's the same as you know, PSN. We are probably a small minority who really care a lot about it. And I said the same with, the other thing we'll look at is Drive Club. That's been an absolutely atrocious launch.
Yeah.
But we're in an age. Imagine if that had come out 15 years ago, in the state it is. That would have been it. That would have been the final product.
Well, it would have been just, yeah, that's it. It wouldn't have been updated or anything like that. It was, when was 50? It was 91. Mega Drive, isn't it? No, 2001, 2000.
Okay, 25 years ago. There we go.
It's just, yeah. I mean, the whole Drive Club thing is, as we were discussing short, you know, a little while ago, is Drive Club. From what I've played of it, it's a very good racing game. I saw people were really down on the corner cutting penalisation, the 3 seconds. You get 3 seconds to get back on track, and you get something for bumping into. It's like what was the game that was like that? Somebody help me out here. It might have been MSR, Metropolis Street Racer,
Yeah.
where you hit somebody and you get a penalty for it. Sometimes the AI is a bit stupid and aggressive, so you kind of get penalised for no reason whatsoever. But let it slide. But I've never been reset to the track. Because you only need to reset the track if you drive like a monk. So it's like it forces you to play in a certain way, which is fine. But when PSN's down and you can't access all these things that they have made big of, like the social club features of it, then you kind of go, well, seeing as your unique selling point is the whole kind of driving game with a Facebook kind of thing, it falls apart a little bit, especially if the service it's tied to isn't working. So, it's a funny one. It'd be easy to criticize it and knock it down, which a lot of people have done, without actually seeing that underneath it all there is a very good game under there.
I've not played Drive Club, so I can't really comment. I was waiting for the PlayStation Plus version to see if it was any good, but obviously I'm still waiting.
Have we heard anything about that? Is there anything?
No, they still haven't said anything.
I reckon they'll wait now until the November.
Well, yeah,
basically, their deadline, their latest possible deadline for the PlayStation Plus edition is the first week of December for the December PlayStation games, because people want that there for Christmas. That the next month, just over a month in terms of actual days, is vital for the success of Drive Club, I think. If they don't get the PlayStation Plus out there and the whole thing working properly by whatever the first Wednesday of December is, I think that's that game done. And unfortunately, I think it could spell the end of Evolution Studios as a single studio. They've all got the talent and they'll go elsewhere, but as a studio, gone.
You see, that'd be sad because I enjoyed the MotorStorm series overall. I enjoyed Apocalypse more than the others for some bizarre reason, but it's just, seeing as Sony have got no qualms about shutting down studios like Sony Liverpool after Wipeout was, from what I understand, a great success for them, then I don't know. I hope not for their sake, but it's not been the most solid start really. So.
No, it hasn't. It's I don't know. I mean, as I spoke about, we will be reviewing the game, and I've decided I'm going to delay my review because there's no point just adding to the commentary there's already been as a review, because no one seems to be looking to review the final game as it's meant to be. So as I said, we're going to do it in two parts. One, addressing the issues it's had, and dealing with that, and then separately reviewing the final product. Whether that's going to be next week or whether that's going to be closer to the end of the year, I don't know. But I think it needs to be reviewed. It needs to be addressed, the issues it's had, and they deserve whatever flack they're getting for the server issues. As some people said, they should have looked at doing a proper beta. It's the likes of the Crew have done it, and yes, it's caused delays, but if they'd have got feedback from people who've done a beta and said, look, this isn't working, and you can see this isn't working, people have accepted the delay. But because I think they had a very, very small stress test on it, they've then gone ahead and released, and it's gone completely to shit. Yeah. And it happens. No one's blaming it. Things happen. But they could have taken other steps to try and prevent that a bit more. If it meant delaying the game another month, I think people would have accepted that. Whereas now, people are talking about wanting their money back, wanting full compensation, etc., etc. And I think that's a new thing. Because this game was released 25 years ago, where you don't get live updates. You'd have gone out, bought that game, and your best hope was trading it in somewhere.
Yeah.
You're stuck with it. Whereas at least now, you've got the game and they can fix it. And I think they'll do some kind of compensation in terms of extra tracks, and whatever, give them for free. But they've also got to go. They can't really go too much with that, because if they do that and it turns out that was stuff that was from the season pass, then you're going to get people who pay 20 quid for a season pass are going to go, well, what are we getting? So they're in a very unenviable position at the moment. I really wouldn't want to be Evolution. And will we see all the season pass? If it does go badly wrong in the next 2 months, who's going to be around to make and release the DLC for the next till, was it June next year or something like that?
I'd be surprised if that stuff wasn't already prepared. But it kind of, the first thing about like the beta thing, the lack of beta, makes you wonder whose decision that was. Was it Sony's or was it Evolution's? I guess we'll never know. The DLC, the season pass. I mean, the whole refund things. If you take it back to a shop, chances are you ain't going to get a refund. If you got a physical copy, chances are you aren't, because it's sold as seen. Some of the functions don't work, but you can play it. It'd be difficult to argue that to get your money back. But the whole digital download thing is a whole kettle of fish. That it's a can of worms just ready to explode all over the place, because people have Sony and Microsoft are flat out no refunds. You ain't getting anything. You've bought it, you've downloaded it, it's yours. You can't have a refund. There's no physical copy to have. I mean, aside from the fact they could revoke the license that's on the console, I don't know how easy that would be, given that Sony can't make an online infrastructure that doesn't require maintenance every 3 weeks. Then I'm not entirely sure. But it's so kind of, it's just difficult. And in an age like an age of entitlement that we're in, I can see why people are kicking off about it, but also I can see that how they're blowing it entirely out of proportion. To be perfectly honest with you, if you're going to pay 50 quid for a digital copy, then you deserve everything you get. So
yeah, I mean, the whole digital thing, I mean, we'll save that for hopefully another episode. But I can't think at any time that, again, apart from indies, and I don't know why it is, I'm more than happy to go, this is only 3-4 quid, I'll take a chance on that. But I don't think I've ever gone, here's a £60 game, I'm just going to go in blindly. I just couldn't do that. If it was something I wanted to take a risk on, and it was a £60 game, I'm going to go and buy that from a shop, knowing that I can get at least half of that back if I play it for a few days and don't like it.
That's
I can't do that with digital. I think it's going to come. I actually think that will come soon with digital, where I think you, much as you would a Photoshop or other Adobe products, where you buy one version, you upgrade to the next for a smaller price. I can see something like that coming in digital, where you buy FIFA 15 digitally, and you get to basically revoke that license, but get FIFA 16 for £30, which is still a ridiculous amount of money for an upgrade, but it's still better than paying 60 and having one copy you'll never play and one that you'll play for another 12 months. So I can see something like that coming in soon. Whether PSN could handle that is a completely other different matter. But yeah, I just don't get people who go day one digital without at least checking out some reviews or some feedback. It's the day that bricks and mortar game shopping dies is just going to be bad for gaming, I think, because people just aren't going to take the risk, and games companies want to sell games, or they do all their numbers based on what a game does in its first couple of weeks.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's a ridiculous concept.
The whole digital versus physical thing is a massive conversation in itself. But it's going to be curious. It's going to be curious to see how it pans out over the next few years. Simply because I don't think that anybody gets that 500 gigabyte hard drives aren't enough. I mean, Titanfall on the Xbox One takes up something ridiculous like 50 gig. So and if it's like if you look at PC downloads, Shadows and Mordor's 50 gig. It's ridiculous. So you need a big hard drive. And two, if you imagine a country as relatively small as Britain still has a pretty piss poor internet connection infrastructure. You know, the speeds generally aren't great. Imagine how bad that is in America, especially when you've got, because we don't have people like Comcast and Time Warner who are standing on people's necks, holding them to ransom and throttling the bandwidth. And so I don't see how this digital revolution is going to begin. This digital download revolution is going to begin while we've still got relatively poor internet connections. Like the Master Chief Collection's got a 20 gig download, which is the multiplayer side of the game. And they've said, you know, oh, you can play the single player while the multiplayer's downloading. Great. You know, a lot of people buying it for multiplayer. So it's like, so you've got a 20 gig download, which is, if you're on fibre, great, it's a couple of hours. But if you live out in sticks and you've got a 6 meg connection, well, you ain't getting it in 2 days, are you? So it's like, it's curious to see. Like I say, it is a big conversation to have for anybody, but it's just there's that small thing of getting the internet up to speed. Well, unless they start replacing all hardware anytime soon, it's not going to happen in the next 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9 years or whatever.
No, see, one of the things that's really bugged me about this generation so far is, one, the size of the hard drives they put in the consoles to start, when they knew from the offset that you have to fully install a disk onto the hard drive. Why can't we run it off the disk? What suddenly changed that we can't run a game off a disk anymore? And if you do know we have to do that, why have you limited us to potentially only being able to have 10 games at a time on the system? It just seems ridiculous. And I know why they've done it. It's going to be, at some point in 2015, get your 2 terabyte PlayStation 4 and Xbox One for only £449 or something like that. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. You know, I've got games that I've had to install, play, uninstall because I wanted to fit something else on. I know we're probably in a slightly unique position where we review games, so we're going through them probably quicker than most people. But it's going to get to that stage where, you know, people are picking up cheap second-hand games, are picking up, you know, Assassin's Creed, Killzone, the underrated knack, which are all fairly large. Shut up, it's great. My son liked it.
I'll wait for it
It
to
was
be
good.
PlayStation Plus.
Sorry?
I'll wait for the PlayStation Plus version. It's bound to be on there.
It's going to be, I reckon it'll be November's game. It'll be the PlayStation 4 anniversary game, that and Killzone.
I don't know
Right.
how Assassin's Creed Black Flag's going to be on there, because they tend to put out the last Assassin's Creed just before the new one comes out. They did it last year with 3.
They've just put it on sale, haven't they, this week?
Have they? Oh.
Yeah, I very nearly succumbed and bought it, but I didn't.
I might
Don't
get
know.
it. Really didn't like 3, but everyone seems to rave about 4.
4's great if you don't play the main story, but you have to play the main story to unlock things. But the side bits where you're a pirate and you're plundering shit and you're blowing shit up and you're swimming for treasure, that's fantastic. The bits where you have to walk after somebody for like 10 meters behind and you get seen and you get put back to a checkpoint, not so much.
Yeah.
Free. Hey.
Yeah, I feel really bad for the next. I played the PlayStation 3 version and I enjoyed it, and I really want to play the PlayStation 4 version because I felt the PlayStation 3 version was a next-gen game trying to break out, because it had really poor. I don't really notice frame rates as such. 3060, I as a rule doesn't bother me, but it had a lot of slowdown on the PlayStation 3, as though that was a game that we need next-gen hardware. But because I played it on the PlayStation 3, I don't want to then pay out 40 odd quid for the next gen version.
No. From what I borrowed a PS4 version and it looked nicer and was more steady, but I didn't notice that much of a leap.
Okay.
It might be. It could just be me because I just play. I didn't play it for long, but if they do put it on PSN, well, you'll find out, won't you? But no, I mean 4's. I did like 4, but it suffered from the same thing that most Ubisoft games suffer from, in that the main, like Watch Dogs. Either of you played Watch Dogs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
No.
What didn't you enjoy about it? Was it the main story was bollocks, where the side missions were
I
actually
didn't
quite
understand
entertaining?
why I was doing certain things, what was happening, why am I doing this. It just made no sense.
That's it. It's like, I mean, you look at. I had the good fortune to play the crew beta. I got into the PC beta, and even driving game suffers from exactly the same problems that Far Cry 3, Assassin's Creed 4, any Watch Dogs. It's like the main bit is like super serious story. We've kind of do all these things and we'll unlock things, and here's a big playground, and you do all the playground bit. It's great, you go off and drive through signs or whatever, but it's like the main bit is just incredibly po-faced, and I just don't get it. I don't understand it.
See, two things. One, I'm going to say we've enjoyed this today. I'm hoping, so we'll do one next week. I hope. But if we don't all suddenly get off this and go, yeah, no, never again. if we do this next week, actually, the open world games and the structure of open world games is something I really actually want to go on a big discussion about, because I actually think they've really got it wrong how they structure those. You made a good point with Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, I think GTA, The Crew, and I think they could have got something very right with Driver. When that came out as well, and I think they could really nail how the open world games in today's online world. So I want to really touch on that next week, if we do this again, or in 2 weeks when we next decide to do one. But I forgot what the point was before that. Anyway,
sorry, we went off on a tangent, didn't we? Adam, what were we talking about?
I don't know. What about?
Sorry, I went off on one. PSN, Assassin's Creed, sale. Nah, it's gone. Can't be that important.
No, it wasn't. Obviously, was it? It's just been mainly a bitching session about PSN and generally what's wrong with it.
The fundamental thing is they need to fix it. It's not a case of they have to. They might. They need to sort it out, because even though it might only be a small subset of their user base that are noticing it and vocal about it on the internet, because everybody's vocal on the internet, the vocal minority is the very definition. But more people are going to pick up on it as bigger games come out. So it's and seeing as everything is tied into this whole, it's like when Microsoft said the Xbox One was going to be always online and everybody kicked off. In a way, rightly so, but my consoles are always online, because that's just the way the way it is these days. Although I could do with like
they want updates, 30 meg updates for actual key parts of the game.
It's just, oh god. You see, that's the kind of as games get bigger, they it's harder to test them, and this, you've bloody done all this. So it's
we tested them.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, that's what I mean. It's all Adam's fault.
Yeah, Adam, for fuck's sake, man. But you're aware. So as games get more complicated and bigger, they're going to be let out into the world. When it was chuffing 2 meg on a Mega Drive cartridge, I'm sure it was relatively difficult to get it working. It's like Ghostbusters on the Spectrum. Ghostbusters, right? When you got to the end of that, you got a code that allowed you to carry your money over to the beginning of your new game. It never, ever worked. It was bugged, so you couldn't actually carry the money across, right? That was what, 1986, whatever, 87, whatever. But it's like these days we can fix that. That's great. That's awesome. I mean, sure, they shouldn't be out in the world anyway, but there you go.
Talking about that, I remember once, I really can't remember what game it was, I cheated on the Mega Drive, where I got a game, I played through the first level and I just really didn't like this game, but my friend had completed the game, and it was one of those where, you get it's password save states.
Yeah.
He gave me his password save state. I played the first level, entered the password and completed the game. Right. My mum was seriously peeved off with me, I think, because obviously that cost God knows how much money, but I was happy. I played it for 10 minutes, didn't like it, and still completed it. Yeah. That would have been great now when you get achievements to actually use for these things. No one knew that I completed this but me and my mate who gave me the password, and he knows that I didn't actually complete it.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. Again, that's another massive conversation about, state of modern gaming. But anyway.
I think, unless anyone else has anything to add, because I
Oh,
think if we start anything else, we'll be going on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we best stop there, really.
Yeah, we're hitting.
I just want to
Ooh.
mention about this incredible piece of absolute tatter they got for you and my Persona 4 Ultimax pre-order. It's like a I tried to blow it up before the show, but I couldn't.
Where'd you blow him up from? Is it like Otto from Airplane?
Also, these tarot cards as well.
But you only get half the tarot cards. You've got to buy Persona Q on the 3DS to get the other half.
Do you?
In the UK, you do, I think. Rice Digital.
These are all the ones that you get me.
Are they? Well, I might have to buy the American ones then, because in the UK you get half of them with Ultimax and you get half of them with Persona Q, which is bullshit. Oh, just tangents, but free stuff in games, bastards. Honestly,
I'm a sucker. I've still got, and the best free thing I ever got that was sent to me. It was sent to me as some kind of press kit from who done Shadows of Mordor? That's bad. Sorry,
Warner
publishers.
Brothers?
Yes, Warner Brothers. They sent me up before the game came out a press kit about the game, and it came with like a CD with a trailer on and stuff like that, and a sword bottle opener, which one looks really bloody cool, but two, the bottle opener's actually crap and doesn't open bottles.
Brilliant.
But because it's a sword,
yeah,
and it's free shit, I'm like, yeah, that's staying in the drawer. I love it.
Buying your loyalty with useless tat.
Yeah. And sometimes I like to be mischievous. I've got a Forza Motorsport 3 USB drive that I got when I bought the game.
Oh yeah.
And I use that in my PlayStation 4 to transfer video files.
Stick it to the man.
I do. I like to be mischievous.
Brilliant.
And I don't know why I've done it. I've done it once. I'm still only would have been young, but I had my PlayStation 1, and my friend had a Saturn to make sure I got my consoles around the right way.
Yeah.
And part of me was sat there one day, and he brought a game around my house that he'd just picked up himself, and he's round, and he's sat there. He's got it. He's gone to show me, and I've gone. I wonder if anyone's ever tested if a Saturn game will work in a PlayStation 1. We both sat there, since night, and gone. Don't know. It could do. Maybe no one's tested it. Both really think, going, oh, imagine if this works and we tell everyone, we'd be rich. It didn't work. It didn't work. But part of me still wanted to one day go, I wonder what happens if I put a 360 disc in a PlayStation 3.
And then it gets stuck in there and you've got to get it out.
Yeah. I want that giant blow up Teddy.
No, you don't. Because that's just creepy as shit. I'm sorry, but it is. Teddy's just freaks me out anyway. But
my partner hates him. I used to play Persona 4 Golden in bed on the Vita, and it's not quite as bad as some of the stuff we've had from NIS and Marvelous AQL, and I can't imagine who done Monster Mon Piece. That's the most disturbing game I've ever played. But yeah, she was kind of listening to it. I think, wait, that just sounds weird. What on earth is going on in that game? And then Teddy started speaking, and she just went, I don't like him. He sounds creepy. You can mute that. You can put headphones on. I don't like that Teddy one. I love Teddy.
Creepy stuff in Golden. A lot.
Yeah.
Like all the swimsuit, like the stuff each was added, things like that.
What makes me laugh though is that the 5-second montage of Rize in a swimsuit or getting out the shower is now relatively tame compared to what my eyes have seen over the last year of JRPGs.
I'm not getting into that. No, the Akiba's trip and stuff like that. Like no.
Akiba's trip is tame compared to playing. I was so unaware of Monster Mon Piece, and I'm going to go into more detail. Maybe these another show. So unaware of what Monster Mon Piece actually was But the first time I was playing it, I was at the ice rink in public, playing away, and it's all fairly innocent to start. And then it gets to this point where it goes, now turn your Vita sideways, okay, and start rubbing. Oh, crap. I'm in public. Turn it round, turn it off.
No.
No, it's, yeah, the Japanese know how to ruin a good mechanic at times.
Speaking of Tad, did you have Persona 4 Arena, the first game?
No.
The CD, well, the free record that came with
Not
it.
the record. No, I didn't get the record. I think I got the CD. I can't remember.
So is Persona 4 Arena, is it good for people who can't play fighting games?
No.
Right, so I don't need to get it.
No, you don't need to get it.
Like, I suck at Street Fighter, so if
I think it's by Arc Systems who do Blaze Blue and stuff like that.
Oh god, I played that. I think that was that one we got free on PS Plus at one point.
It's yellow as well.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's lovely.
No,
I don't have a
no.
record player, so I don't know if it actually is real. The track was.
But I tell you what, it seems they know how to do some free stuff.
Yeah, they do. It's the tarot cards. I mean, I didn't know that if the American one comes with all the tarot cards, I'll probably end up buying the American one. But like I say, over here they come in 2 halves, which is a bit shit. But there you go.
See, I'm waiting for one of these Japanese RPGs to actually come with a free negligee or something one day.
Oh, just that's a rabbit hole I'm not going down.
Get your free
I'm not even
waifu
gonna
kit.
I'm not even going to Google it. I'm not going to see what the worst, most pervy thing that's been given away with a video game, because that's just no.
Surely it has to be that Dead Island decapitated bust.
Oh Jesus! Oh, you got that wrong, didn't they?
That's worse than anything the Japanese pervert games can do. Because at least you know what you're getting with those. That was just so out of just no. You got that wrong.
Yeah. I don't mind, but Dead Island's shit. So.
I'm torn. It's okay. I didn't mind it.
It didn't stop me putting like 12 hours into it on the PC.
How'd you find Destiny, Steve?
Pardon?
Do you like Destiny?
Oh.
Your Destiny addiction is shocking. Stop it.
I've only played it for 80 hours. That's not nearly anything what other people have put into it.
I was like you, but then I just stopped. It's not worth it.
I know this alcohol's bad for me. I shouldn't. I shouldn't be on my 3rd bottle of gin for today, but I can't help it.
Do you know what? I'm punching myself in the knackers, and it's bad for me, but I just can't stop. It's just, no. I've written at length. I'm going to bed after this. I'm not going to switch the PS4 on and do more things.
I'm going to monitor my friends list now.
Shut up. Anyway.
I think that's it for today.
Yes,
thank you for
10 minutes after we said we were finishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the best thing I've seen is we've had between 4 and 8 viewers throughout, so people have been watching us.
They've had to put up with us talking about rubbish.
I know, but generally, people have watched us, so that's always good. So thank you for those that have watched us. Those that have started to watch us and then buggered off, screw you.
No, we want you to come back.
No, they're not listening. They've gone, so
right.
we can screw them. But no, honestly, thank you very much. Obviously, this is our first effort at this, so stick your feedback in. Is this how we do it in the YouTube comments below? Is that how people generally do it? There you go. Love to hear your feedback, and obviously we'll try and find ways of maybe getting people involved next time out. The little tools that Hangouts gives you didn't work. So I'll look into that. But yeah, enjoyed this one, gents. What about you?
Yeah, no, it's been good. Any excuse to talk rubbish.
What's coming up on the site this week, Brad? That's what you should be saying at the end.
Oh yes, this week on Gamestyle, because that's our site, and I don't think I've mentioned it once. Gamestyle.com. We have reviews. We have reviews for Race the Sun, which I'll be trying to get done. Don't Die, Mr. Robot. We've had Chariot, haven't we?
Yep.
Hopefully, The Evil Within. Stealthink 2 on the Wii U. giving out other consoles a bit of a look in. And I believe Steve, South Park Pinball on the
Yes.
Xbox One.
That should be sometime during the weekend. Yes.
Cool. And if I get time, I will do my written discussion, shall we say, on the Drive Club debacle.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds
away from my review. So plenty of content.
And hopefully as well, a review of this. I forget. Oh, that's reversed. It says Evo Moment 37.
No, it shows the right way round on the screen here. Yes.
Professional.
So we're going highbrow. We're actually reviewing books. What is that, by the way? Not a book. What's that about? I know what a book is.
I don't know if you're into the whole fighting tournament scene, but there was a moment called the Daigo Parry at an old Evo tournament.
Yes.
It's basically a book about that and all of Evo. A lot of Evo information in there.
Cool.
That sounds actually quite interesting. Yeah.
It is. The descriptions of the actual fight is a bit dodgy because you'd much prefer to be watching them than actually reading what happens. Like Ryu performs fireball, other character dodges backwards.
Like a BBC text commentary of a fight.
Yeah, a bit. Interesting. I like it.
Cool.
Cool. So a lot of firsts. We've had our first live video show. We're going to have our first book review. I don't think there's been one before. Excellent. And hopefully, once we've got all this down, we'll see a few more. I don't want to say let's play, so not let's play, but a bit more video content, so maybe some more live streams of games and what have you. But yeah, we're moving into a new age.
Cool.
But no, thank you everyone for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Cool. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.